This is Brick City, the city we're building together on this channel. And I want to make it feel real, Dutch, like a little part of Utrecht right here in the studio. With canals, with Dutch architecture and with trains that actually look good. But I keep running into problems. The landscape is flat, the trains are basic, and I have no idea yet how to build something like the Oudegracht, the famous Dutch canal here in Utrecht in the Netherlands. So I went to LEGO World 2025, one of the biggest LEGO events in the world. To find techniques, to find inspiration, and to steal ideas from builders who figured this all out. And I filmed everything, so I'm turning it into a series. And this is part 2. The Oudegracht project needs Dutch buildings, canal houses, classic facades, but where do we even start? These two builders, Guido Verstegen and Thomas van Urk, captured that Dutch feeling perfectly. Old squares, stained glass, classic facades, buildings inspired by Amsterdam, Leiden and even Brussels. Let's check it out. We're starting this video with a layout by Guido Verstegen, an old city square with a church and city hall. His layout is based on what he has seen in different Dutch cities, and then he let his imagination run free with that. These historical buildings on the left are exactly the type of buildings you can encounter here in the Netherlands. I really like those. Past the old square with 2 nice trees and a flock of sheep, we move to the right of this layout. Now, this red building with the 2 unequal corner towers, that's inspired by the City Hall of Venlo here in the Netherlands. And here's a cool historical fact. The core of it, the cellars and foundation, they go all the way back to the beginning of the 14th century. That's the early 1300s. The current Renaissance style city hall that we see here was designed and built around 1597 to 1601 by architect Willem van Bommel. And when they built it, they actually kept the old cellar vaults from the original building. I think that's pretty cool, preserving that piece of history, and now here in LEGO. Now this huge church tower, the eye-catcher of this layout. It's based on different church towers found in Belgium and the Netherlands. Guido let his imagination run free while applying various styles. I like how the stained glass is done, with the light behind it, making the effect pop even more. The tower is 185 centimeters high. That's pretty impressive. I also like this tram track in the front. It's not a circle, so it won't be able to run on its own going forward like a normal Lego train. But this is a way to incorporate tracks in a layout without it taking up a huge amount of space. I'm going to keep this in mind because this could especially be a nice solution when using the large radius FX tracks curves we explored in part 1 of this series. Now we move to a layout by Thomas van Urk. And we've seen his work before in the LEGO World videos from last year and the year before that. Especially this beautiful tower. When preparing for this video, I found his Flickr page and discovered how he built this. And well, this is really something special. He has built so much more, and he's been building for a very long time. We can also see that in this street with custom buildings. So let's take a closer look. The first corner building is not based on a real building. Thomas was inspired by architecture from Brussels for this one. This red building with tan colored window frames is based on a real building in the shopping center of Aachen in Germany. It's one of his favorites, he writes on his Flickr page. I also read there that we shouldn't expect an interior here, because some building techniques apparently use all the space inside. I would love to learn more about that someday. Very curious what that looks like from the inside. Well, who knows, maybe we can learn more about it at a future LEGO convention and video. This corner building is based on imagination and inspiration from Google Maps Street View in Amsterdam. Dark tan and light grey, I like that color combination. And the building behind it is based on a real pub in his hometown, Leiden. This corner building that continues to the back is based on a stately building in Ruse, in Bulgaria. It's located on a square and Thomas captured it beautifully in LEGO, if you ask me. I'm not sure if the next building and the red one to the right of it are inspired by real buildings, but they do look cool. This corner building, however, is based on a real building in the Hoge Woerd street in Leiden, here in the Netherlands. I like how this rounded corner is done, because round corners are hard in LEGO, as we all know. This is the second iteration of this building, and I like how he keeps improving existing builds as well. That is something to consider when building the Oudegracht. It doesn't have to be perfect on the first try. We can improve when we see fit. Here we can see that the red building doesn't have an interior. And that is also something to consider when we build the Oudegracht, because interiors make it a lot more complex and perhaps they're not really necessary. Because, well, I don't know about you, but I don't look at the inside of the official modulars at all, really. When we would add lighting, it changes, of course. So remember the problem? I need Dutch buildings for the Oudegracht, but I had no idea where to start. This is exactly what I've been looking for. Real Dutch inspiration for real Dutch buildings here in Brick City. Guido showed me how to capture that old Dutch square feeling. The stained glass with lights behind it, that's something I want to try. And that tram track solution, not a full circle, just a section, combined with those FX tracks curves from part 1, that could really work, I think. Thomas showed me something else. You can base buildings on real places, Leiden, Amsterdam, Aachen and even more, and mix them together into one street. And that rounded corner technique? Round corners in Lego are hard, but he figured it out. Going to take that along with me when we build the curve, the rounded curve, for the Oudegracht. And here's the big one. No interiors. If it makes building a bit easier, less parts intensive, and the outside still looks great, maybe that's just the way to go. At least for the first version. I think the Oudegracht project just got a lot clearer. And what did you think? Which techniques should we try first in Brick City? Let me know in the comments. Next up, trains that completely run themselves. If you enjoyed this video, a thumbs up or a like really helps the channel reach more Lego fans. And if you want to see how we are going to build all the inspiration here in Brick City, subscribe so you don't miss it. For now, if you want to see more, check out one of these 2 videos on the screen. And I hope to see you next time.